You can teach yourself anything and go from zero to mastery. How? In this video, we'll be discussing 4 key points for succeeding as a self-taught person. 1. Your thoughts. 2. Your motivation. 3. Observation. And 4. Your learning system. As a self-taught artist, I'll be sharing some mindsets and tips that have worked for me and that maybe you'll find helpful as well. I have barely any plan. Ooh! One of the main challenges in painting this portrait was that my reference was from the 1940s, so it was black and white, and I had to totally invent the skin tone colors, and I would just look at myself in the mirror. Several years ago, I made a change that transformed my life and the way I look at the world and myself. I used to have a lot of negative self-talk. I'd tell myself I was lazy, stupid, and unable to achieve success on a daily basis. This escalated to the point where every time I would see my reflection in a mirror, I would feel this burning hate and disappointment. I couldn't stand myself, and I didn't hesitate to tell myself so. That was until I started skimming through this book, The Magic Lamp by Keith Ellis. Now, at the time, I didn't have the desire to read the whole thing, but what stood out to me was how much power our minds hold over us. One way this can be demonstrated is through this little experiment that you can do right now. Stand up with your arms held straight out at eye level on either side of you. Now twist your torso as far as you can go while still keeping your feet planted. While you're twisted, take note of what your hand held out in front of you is pointing at. Now untwist yourself and close your eyes. Visualize yourself twisting again, but this time your hand is pointing a little bit farther than before. Now, open your eyes and twist again in real life. Now, did you twist further on the second time than you did the first time? That is the power of your mind. Just visualizing yourself doing something that was impossible for you just moments before made it possible. Now, this got me thinking, if something as simple as twisting farther than before can be done just because your mind simply visualized it happening, imagine how much effect negative self-talk can have. Could it be that by visualizing and telling yourself every day that you're not good enough, you are making that come true? As an experiment, I decided that for 1 week I was going to try to eliminate my negative self-talk. My guideline was, if you won't tell it to your friend's face, why would you tell it to yourself? There's this saying, treat others like you would want to be treated. However, what if we changed it to treat yourself like you would treat others? Needless to say, after 1 week of this experiment, I didn't want to go back. Of course, changing something takes time, and at first I did slip up and automatically tell myself something negative every time I made a mistake, and I still do that sometimes. The key is, though, is to finish that thought with the word yet. I'm not good at drawing portraits yet. I'm not good at managing my time yet. And this way, instead of putting yourself down, you are instead opening yourself and your mind to the possibility of becoming better. Now, what does all of this have to do with teaching yourself something? When you become mindful of your thoughts and get rid of negative self-talk, you are creating healthy conditions for growth. Flowers need the right amount of sunlight, water, and soil to grow. When you start learning something new, there's that initial spark. Then after a while, it fades away and whatever you are trying to teach yourself loses its zeal. If you don't have the right motivation, you end up giving up prematurely, which is especially the case when you're the one cheering yourself on and doing the teaching. I speak from experience. If you want to learn anything, you need good motivation. Learning is hard and uncomfortable, but when you have a strong reason why you are making an effort, you are more likely to stay consistent and keep going, even when you lose your initial spark. 2 years ago, I wanted to learn how to draw and paint better, so I started this YouTube channel, and by doing so, I'm realizing 2 long-time dreams of mine: having a YouTube channel and becoming an artist. The need to post consistently is what motivates me to keep making art, and vice versa. Making art is what keeps me posting on YouTube. Don't hesitate to come up with multiple motivations, because the more the merrier. Another motivation I have for making art is simply growing in my skills. I feel like a lot of times motivation is put on this pedestal as something that comes and goes, like inspiration. I think it's more like core basic reasons that make going through the challenges and setbacks of learning something new worth it to you. Now, the third category that will help you in teaching yourself is observation. Open your eyes to your surroundings. And I don't mean literally keep your eyes peeled at all times or something. Just try to be present. Because even when you're doing something or in a location completely unrelated to the skill you're trying to learn, your mind absorbs this information and makes new and unique connections that could help you along your journey. Now that you've taken care of your negative self-talk, you have reasons to motivate you to learn, and you're keeping yourself open to the possibilities around you, you're ready to dive into the logistics, developing your learning system. My first tip would be take advantage of free resources. Get books from the library. YouTube itself has so many tutorials that can help you. I feel like I owe a lot of credit to YouTube in my personal self-teaching journey. YouTube has taught me everything from painting to drawing to editing and music. Don't be afraid of tutorials. But what if you don't know where to start? Let's assume you want to learn to draw or paint better. What I did, which I would recommend, is just start. Go draw, go paint, and that's how you'll see where your weak points are. And then from there, you can choose one aspect or topic that you're struggling with and focus on it until you get better. When I first started my portrait drawing journey, I had trouble drawing noses. And if you were to scroll back to my first videos, you'll see a nose drawing challenge that I did. I also did a portrait drawing challenge, and I found that both of these challenges resulted in a major jump in my skills. An extra bonus point to achieving mastery in anything is trust your gut as opposed to your emotions. Over the course of your learning journey, there will be highs and lows. As someone who is an emotional person, I know that whenever those lows hit, you start to react and it deeply affects your mood. When you're in this emotional rush, take a step back and chill out for at least 3 days. Don't officially quit or do any major action while you're emotional. Once you're calmer, assess the situation with your gut and see if your problem is even relevant anymore, and most of the time, it's not. But if it still is, and you feel in your gut that something isn't right or it still feels negative, then you can think and come up with solutions and compromises. If you have anything to add to what I said here or want to share your story, feel free to comment. I love reading them. And if you found this video helpful, please drop a like and consider subscribing. Thank you! See you next video.